Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. Today, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Cassandra Golden. Welcome, Cassandra. Welcome,
Thank you for having me.
Problem. So, first and foremost, who trained you?
Well, I initially trained in Canada with Lance Storm. I took some time off, and then I went back to Arkansas. That's where I'm from. And I trained with Action Jackson. And then I moved to Georgia. And then I started training with QT Marshall at the Power Factory.
Yeah, have you ever heard that old song that by a gentleman that wears black? Says, "I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere." You know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Actually, your theme song, for lifetime, like your wrestling. If you have a real life song and a wrestling song, that needs to be your wrestling theme song. I've been everywhere, man.
Pretty much.
Didn't they have to name the states and you're pointing at the signs?
Right. That's a cute idea.
I know a young lady that was our first guest I ever had on the podcast from England. I don't know if you saw a picture on the wall when you were there with the young lady named Kiara.
Kiara?
Yeah, she is from England and she trained at Lance Storm School.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, she's a very nice girl. So funny, so sweet. Yeah. So with you training with like the legendary Lance Storm, like what kind of advice did he give you for like putting your character and put like your like with the promos and stuff like that?
Well, I would say a lot of our work was mainly in ring. That's mainly what I remember, and just make sure that you know your basics. He's really big on the basics because he's Lance Storm, an amazing technical wrestler. So I would say that's a lot of what I learned from him is a lot of like in ring as well. We did have our promo days, which were very interesting, to say the least. Promos are still something that I like to work on. So in regards to that, I think be yourself. He would definitely say it's just you. You hear this all the time. It's just you turned up, you times 10. That's something that he would tell us as well in regards to like character work or promos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that all I can think is I'm going back to like WCW days. Did you go back and actually watch any of like old Lance Storm stuff just to get like a full like idea what he's like his character? I still watch his promos and I'm like, man, Lance Storm. It's like, be quiet this way I could.
Yeah.
That fade, that high top.
And he's actually a pretty funny guy too. Like in real life, when you talk to him, he's actually really funny too.
Like I remember watching some of his stuff because in my town, I have one of his old like members of his stable that live in the town I live in Pennsylvania. And the first time I met him, I was working in Walmart, and I was like, "Dude, you're Jason Knight," and he goes, "Yeah, I am Jason Knight." And I'm like, wow, older wrestlers really get their like ego going. Like, you're like, "Oh my god, you're Lance Storm," and he's probably like, "Yes, that's me." Like,
yeah.
So when it comes to like fans from my side of the country, the East Coast people, and they're if they're not familiar with you and like your style of wrestling, what would be like the top 5 things that you would say that would get the fans to want to like come in your corner and become like want to get to know you better?
Ooh, the top 5 like wrestling things or things about me or
about your character and everybody that want to watch you and know more about you.
I would say that I'm strong. I think nowadays there's a lot of very strong women, which that I love. I think right now is the best time to be a women's wrestler, because we just get that shine. I would say that I bring a different type of power, a different type of strength. Normally, I am a good guy too, so I think it's cool to see that dynamic of me being this big, strong, powerful woman, but I'm still like on the good side as well, and not just throwing people around just to beat them up and be mean.
Well, if you're the big character, you always is it like do you ever feel like go back to when you first started, and you first walked through the doors, and like you'll go back and watch your very first match that's online, or like your somebody gave you for when you were younger that you're like, oh my gosh, I totally would go back and change this moment. Have you ever done that yet?
All the time. It's like I think a lot of people when they go back and watch like their old matches, just like gosh, like I wish I could if I could redo that match with like the knowledge I have now and the wrestling ability that I have now, I would go back in a heartbeat just to redo some matches. Even still, like I'm not perfect, but especially some of those early me matches. I definitely wish I could redo, but that's part of the game. So
Yeah. That's like part of wrestling. Like, I wish I can go back and fix my like some of my original interviews I did back in the day with my former co-host, but this you can't go. There's no way you can make a DeLorean without getting it chased by the FBI. Like,
yeah, and that's good. It shows your growth that you're really trying and you're working hard to do better and to be better. Because you don't want to stay where you were. However, whenever you started, like 5, 6 years ago, you don't want to stay there. You want to get better always. So
yeah.
hopefully, even in like 5 years, I'll look back at the matches I have now and it's like, gosh, I wish I could have go back and do better. So
And also you can go back like in the future when you remember you're like, oh my god, I was on Dudes at Ringside when it was still on YouTube. Oh my god,
exactly,
now look at him. He's on Peacock.
exactly. There we go. That's
He
exactly
works
what it is.
he works for like ad promotion here. Like
Exactly. Exactly. 5 years, we'll be looking back.
we're both gonna be. Hey, we'll be. I say I give him a good word for you. I'll be like, bring her. I'm put me in a gold jacket. I'll be your manager.
Right. Be a manager. Let's do
I
it.
put me in a, get me a nice gold jacket with like. Would you? But well, here we go. I always ask the wrestlers if I ever became their manager because I always jokingly say I'm like the Jimmy Hart of the wrestling
Yeah.
world. What coat? What kind of coat would you put me in? Like a suit coat?
I would say I would put you in like I see it online all the time. It's like a sparkly gold varsity looking jacket with like golden on like the back.
Oh yeah.
Would probably do that.
Someone told me I'm like the Jimmy Hart of wrestling because of the red glasses, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah, I can see that.
I love Jimmy Hart. That's my boy. Even though I'm not, I'll be Joe of the East instead of Jimmy Hart, the loudmouth of the South, Joey of the East, Joey Panthers of the East. Because I've been my buddy Hector, that he's really cool with me, one of my friends. He loves Jimmy Hart, and every time we watched like a pay per view from Bash at the Beach or like a Nitro, and he'd come out with somebody, he's like, "Look at Jimmy now, all those different coats." The one he was, I didn't get a chance to see it. He came out with the what's that stable he was part of for a while? The Powers of Pain or whatever, like the big scary guys he was part of. His jacket, I'm like, I told him about it. He's like, "Oh, now I gotta see it." I'm like, I got to find a picture of it. It's like a black jacket, black suit coat with skulls, like ones you could buy from a Halloween store. They just cut like they cut them like sideways, so they were facing out, like a skull. The top of the skull, they cut it like this, and they cut it and put it on each shoulder,
Oh wow.
going going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Jimmy, man, did you make that or your tailor made that? Because that's legitly hot.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Because his jackets from WCW and WWE were like really, really cool. Like,
Yeah.
even though he had like, do you wait? Are you in the age gap that you got a chance to see the SummerSlam '91 or no?
No.
He had three wrestlers. I think he had two or three wrestlers that night in the same show, and he had the Natural Disasters. He had the Mountie, and I forgot who else he had that night. The Mountie lost. He went to jail. and the natural disasters won, but they won barely. And then he had to run in the room, change into a red jacket with a black tie. Mountie lost, went to jail. He had to change back into his jacket and do the backstage interview with the natural disasters. And it was so funny because he had to still have the black tie on with the red shirt, and he had the weird natural disasters coat with the wave and the waves on the other side of it. And he was all disheveled because he was like, his coat was all and the collar wasn't all. It was like all like he was like, oh my god, oh my god, I can't believe my man he went to jail. Oh my god, like, I was just dying. I was like, oh god, Jimmy. So let's get into it. Like when it comes to like your like training, like the week of a show, do you have to do a certain training regimen, or do you have something already you have on your phone, like a tap, like a thing open, like on the notes, like okay, I have to do this workout and this.
So as far as like my regular training, I've started, I don't know if you've heard of the Ladder app. I use the Ladder app. So pretty much it kind of takes like the guesswork out of like what type of workout you're doing. So I pretty much do that every morning. And as far as my wrestling training, I'll look at the opponent that I have coming up. I'll watch their matches and I'll kind of just like go based off of that as well. So I kind of have two ways of training for a show. In my regular workouts, like strength training and cardio, and then I'll have my wrestling training as well.
So, like, who have you, like, is there any opponents that you have not like faced yet that you've been seeing at like local shows that you just haven't connected with yet?
I think that I've seen. So I don't know if she counts, but I was recently at a show with Queen Almanada. I've been wanting to wrestle her for a while. I think that'll be really fun. I feel like she definitely pushed me, but I would love to wrestle Almanada. I think she's great. Who else have I not had a chance to wrestle? I wrestled Savannah Evans. I'm wrestling her again on Saturday. So I would love to have another match with her as well. And who else have I seen that I want to wrestle? I would love to wrestle Lainey Luck as well. I've seen her around, but I haven't had a chance to wrestle her. I think that'd be cool as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So when you travel to your shows, do you have to pack a cooler like of like a lunch and a dinner, like a breakfast and lunch, or do you just pack a lunch and then wait till your end of your match to eat your dinner?
I should do that. I would probably save a lot of money if I were to do that instead. But typically on a show day, I'll probably eat something small. Like a bar. I love the little barbars. People are really split on these. Yeah, I think they're good. Like sometimes a lot of people don't like them. I've gotten comments when I purchase them inside the grocery store, or not the grocery store, the gas station. People are like, but I like them personally. And then I'll just probably pick something up like afterwards. I really like. I've been going to. Last place I went to was Sheetz. Whenever I'm in like where was I? West Virginia. I went to a Sheetz.
Sheetz in West Virginia? I thought it was a PA thing. Wait a second. No. They're cheating on us. They're cheating on us here in PA. Born in Pennsylvania, Pete. Sheetz a cheater.
Yeah, I like Sheetz. And I like Wawa too. I like Sheetz and I like Wawa. Or I'll just pick up something from just like a fast food place really quick, just depending on where I am. But I definitely prefer something like a Sheetz or a Wawa.
They make a really good BLT at Wawa. Just letting you know.
I haven't had that there.
You could actually, I know it's extra. It's like I think 50 cents extra. You can have them put guacamole on it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Just saying. But even though it's like 50 cents extra,
it's worth it.
No,
avocado's worth it.
My dad's like, what about the mayo? I'm like, the mayo can have a day off.
Right. Yeah. QT makes a good turkey sandwich. I do like so if I'm really hungry and I need an actual meal and the show isn't until later, sometimes I'll drive kind of far. So I don't mind like eating something a little bit like heavier. I'll get like a sandwich. QT has a really good turkey sandwich I like. So That's not the only
What's
two.
this QT? Remember East Coast Pennsylvania people or
Oh,
I would say East Coast tri-state are kind of like confused on what you just meant. What is QT?
QT, it's like a quick trip. It's a gas station.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always, whenever I have people from the UK and they'll talk about places in the UK, and I'll go. I just said I'm gonna start saying this. Everybody in America on the East Coast all just scratch their heads at the same time.
I guess
Called their British friend. They went, "What is blah blah blah?" Like, they just paused the interview, went to Google, and went, "What is blah blah?" I swear, we just got paused on. We're all like, and it's like, we got to sit it for a few seconds.
Right.
You have to wait. They're googling. What is it?
To figure out what it is. Right. I feel that. It was
Yeah.
like I was like, what is a Sheets? What is I've never heard of that before. Or like what is a Buc-ee's too? Like I was like, I don't know what a Buc-ee's is.
When I go with my family to the Carolinas, I can't wait to figure out if we're gonna be on a route that there's a Buc-ee's. I am gonna bring a sticker purposely to put it like whenever I go somewhere, I always take my sticker and I stand right in front of the doorway and I go and I take a picture like a dartboard.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go in there and be like, come out with my wallet like I'm buying a sticker. I'm gonna buy the keychain. I'm gonna buy if Bucky's there. I'm gonna hug him. I'm gonna hug the Bucky. I'm gonna take a picture of me like this.
He was like, you gotta take a picture with the statue.
Yes, I gotta. My mom will get mad. Why are the red glasses in your jet? And you're in the car. No reason. Bucky needs to be Joe Panther III.
Right, need the glasses too.
Because I've met so many female wrestlers and male wrestlers from like the Carolinas and that down south, and they all tell me, "You gotta go to Bucky's. You gotta go to Bucky's." And my sister, Sassy Chica, she has a hair barrette in her car, and I'm sitting there in the passenger seat, and something made me do this. So I was like, donut beaver? And I went like this. That's a Bucky hair barrette. And she was like, how the hell do you know that's a Bucky hair barrette? And I was like, pro wrestling. And she was like, how is that professional wrestling? Explain, Mr. Podcaster. And I was like, okay, every professional wrestler that I've talked to for about 4 years all mentions Bucky's, and they tell me I have to go to Bucky's.
Exactly, you gotta go to Bucky's.
And they have fresh nuts. They have fresh nuts every single day. And they have really banging pulled pork, apparently.
Yeah, the pulled pork sandwiches are very good. So if you go, you got to get the pulled pork or the brisket. The brisket is also good.
I guess I'm begging my dad to stop. We got to stop at Bucky's.
You got to stop at least once just to see it. And then they have like a whole like clothing merch store in there too.
I'm buying a pin. I got a board here that I have to buy a Bucky's pin and put it on my board. And just put the little Bucky over there. Either I'm gonna have to get a picture with Bucky hugging him, or have my famous Dudes at Ringside sticker right by the entranceway that says Bucky's.
Yeah.
And you don't get run over in the parking lot, because I've seen people like taking a picture of the entranceway. I'm like, I'm gonna put my sticker like
sticker, yes.
And then I get hit by the truck in the parking lot. I could be Joe Bucky's then if with the red glasses on Bucky. You know? I wouldn't. Bucky's on. If you ever think about here commercial Bucky's, if you ever looking for sponsor me,
right?
Your gas stations,
right? Everybody's always talking about Bucky's. Might as well get that sponsorship.
Yeah, but they'll in my picture they have to have a little pair of red glasses on Bucky.
Right.
If that's his name, I don't know if his name's Bucky. I gotta find out. Is his name Bucky, or is it just because he's a beaver?
Right, Bucky the Beaver. Who knows? I actually don't know.
But imagine his name is Bob. We're like, what?
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So, before we go, if my fans want to pick up any merch of yours, where can they find it?
I have a Big Cartel. It's just Cassandra Golden on the bigcartel.com. You can also message me on Facebook, and I can order it that way as well.
Awesome. And if they want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
My Instagram is _Cassandra Golden _, and my Facebook is just Cassandra Golden, and so is my Twitter. Pretty simple.
Awesome, Cassandra. Do you have any upcoming shows that you wanna before we go? You wanna promote?
I do. I have a show this Saturday actually in Brookhaven, Mississippi. I am in a first ever for this promotion. It's Bayou Independent Wrestling, BIW, where I am the women's champion there. We're gonna have the first ever mixed tag match, me and Bam Bam Malone versus Alex Arsenal and Savannah Evans. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I love tag wrestling. I need to find me a tag partner. So I'm really excited for that one coming up this week.
When you were mentioning wrestlers that are really like you're like buff, I know who one person you should look up. T Gaines.
I've heard of her.
You and her would be like the two buff girls. You'd be destroying everybody.
Right.
Tell her if you ever talk to her, tell her Joe Panther the Third highly regards you because she's T Gaines and she's Quadzilla. Like,
nice. Yes, I've definitely heard of her. Yeah, for sure.
she's amazing. But then her partner would get pissed because she has a tag team partner.
Oh, does she?
Yes.
Sure,
That's, see, I broke your heart.
Right, right.
Sorry.
Up and then like snatch it away from me.
She could be the manager because like she doesn't have to be your partner because you guys are rivals. So she could be our manager. Like,
Maybe.
switch.
Switch it up.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Cassandra. I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck on your wrestling journey. Just remember, fans, support independent wrestling.
Yes.
Definitely go give her a follow. Go to get some. If you're in a local area that you're on a trip, go to your gas stations. Go to the delis, stores, look for a wrestling poster. Look online, see in your area if there's any professional wrestling shows you've never been to. Buy a ticket. Go watch a show. You don't have to sit ringside like I am. Go sit in the stands. Give some money to an indie wrestler. Buy a sticker. Go check out some new people you've never seen before, like I do with like awesome Cassandra right here. I'm Joe Panther the Third.
This is Cassandra Golden, the golden one, Cassandra Golden.
And we will catch you in the next one.